up the Umbreon to be open.
Yeah, who's the second pick is really the question here. Sarah Ledge. So that will mean that the likes of Urshifu will still be open for full
Right.
sense to pick up. We know how strong it is, and Miraidon
There you go.
will be something that Elevate could pick up right after as an answer up against FS. So that is some of the things that we could expect for
Mhm.
Elevate, and then picking up the likes of Hoopa or even the likes of another supporter, which is a Cliff
Ooh.
Fable that can also give that extra sustain along with the Snorlax.
Well, this is getting. I'm getting quite nostalgic with the picks here coming from Elevate. Clefable, Snorlax, they have been writing this well, and maybe perhaps you know, well, there's the Dodrio, but they could have like went in for the Talonflame as well. There's not a lot of people who, a lot of teams who use a Talonflame, but they were the ones who can use Talonflame in a highly competitive setting. With that being said, though, like Full Sense here definitely has a completely balanced out composition. They have the backline damage that is the Mewtwo Y, and of course we have the Bruiser that is of course the Urshifu, and of course the Garchomp, and of course we have the frontliner that is a Umbreon, and we have the support that is the Blissey. But going into the side of Elevate, though, Lewis with that of Greninja is actually a very, very phenomenal combination as well. Absent with that of the Clefable, and of course Tempest with that of the Snorlax. And what do you call this? Like Charlotte, a really amazing Pokemon, and Miva being very mobile is just going to provide a lot of problem into the side of Full Sense.
Surely. And at this point, looking at the composition, coming for the side of Full Sense, pretty much a bruiser-centric type of comp. So this is very hefty, wherein Elevate will have a difficult time into bursting anyone coming in from FS except Mewtwo Y. But even then, Mewtwo Y is a Pokemon that has significant amount of defensive capability lines with Mewtwo Y having that Mega Evolution for that extra damage, and he doesn't need to go a bit further and overextend just because of the range and distance wherein he can deal damage from.
For sure. And here you go, though. This is going to be the first time they're going to be matching up against each other, and definitely, the first game for Elevate as well for today. So really going to be interesting stuff here. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen here. Elevate definitely is a very strong contender, but Full Sense having that win against Ultra Ego 2-0 from earlier today, that momentum is still going to bring them. It's going to be carrying over into this game. That's for sure.
Absolutely right. Now, in the early game, I feel like Full Sense has that better edge just because of that Urshifu and just because also having the Umbreon that could rotate around the map. But Elevate eventually would catch up quite quickly, right?
Mhm.
Because of the ledge that they have. So it's all about playing that patience game. Full Sense and Elevate will just create back and forth in terms of points in the early game.
Oh yeah, but here you go though. What's gonna be the play of the game here for Full Sense is if they can babysit, this Gabite, this Gibble, to be that of a Garchomp, because if they can't get this well, a Gibble to become a Garchomp quite early, then they're definitely going to have a hard time here. But fortunately for them, currently a 1 minute mark already a Gabite.
Yeah, Elevate and Full Sense already with a 20 points as well each. So very, very
Oh
minute
wow!
difference for both sides. But this is what we're saying. Full Sense going to be aggressive early game.
Oh, this is quite interesting. It has been quite a while since we've last seen the Water Bear, but that is going to be the play of the game here for that of Full Sense. And, like 90% of the time, like 90 to 1, a 9 to 1 ratio, people would just go in for the Dark Bear, Wicked Blow. But again, this is just quite an interesting decision coming in from that of Full Sense. Let's find out how they're going to be able to make use of this. Maybe because of the fact that they already have a Garchomp. That's why they wanted to go in for that of the Water Bear, go in for the DPS because they have a Bruiser. That might be the case here, but I'm not quite sure how that's going to be able to fare up against that of Elevate. But here it comes though. They're going to be able to take down the Frogadier into the side of Elevate.
Yeah, and so far, Dodrio very late in terms of that evolution. A level 7 for in comparison to a level 5 Dodrio. So Elevate right now and a big gap up against Full Sense, but 1 KO already.
Ow. There you have it. Elevate gonna be taken out as well in the process, and Fable not gonna be able to do a lot here. Not going to be able to push them out. Not even. I don't think it has gravity yet. No, not quite yet.
Yeah, and right now, Full Sense just really having that full control over the game. A massive gap in terms of experience and levels across the board in average for Full Sense. They're already at level 7. In average, for the opposition for Elevate, they're just level 5, level 6. It's a big
Mm.
difference in terms of that power that Elevate can provide, and it's not a match for Full Sense at the moment.
No, not quite. Yeah, definitely not in the early game, just because the fact that Elevate, they have a lot of attacking prowess, but the problem is they are quite squishy. Even Greninja being one of those Pokemon that has the lowest HP in the game, even at level 15, it's quite a deficit for them not to be able to have it online as early as possible. And Full Sense is making sure that it doesn't happen as early as possible. But look at this though, Elevate does have the level 9 Sterile Edge, but the thing is it gonna be enough? Is that one Pokemon with one Unite move in their team going to be enough to take down Full Sense?
Now Garchomp in the front, they're going in aggressively up against Elevate, and now Blissey or Wildrat Clefable will be caught up.
Yes, sir. You're gonna be able to take down that Clefable as well. And there you go. Look at the Garchomp with the Dragon Rush and the Dragon Claw as well. We're gonna be able to see that Reverend Rand gonna be able to do some damage, but not quite enough though. Urshiba gonna be taken out here. A little bit of overextension here, but at least the right here like is now up. They're gonna be able to put in some damage as well, some scores in. And look at that, another hyperspace, not hyperspace or rather, but a heavy slam rather is going to put up some Pokemon flying up into the air, allowing Full Sense to put in some damage. Beautiful stuff here coming from Full Sense. They know, sure, it might look like they are overextending, but they know they can. They have calculated everything that they are going to be doing and making sure that they can punish Elevate for even trying to get into them.
Yeah, and now Elevate is scouring for a couple of points here. Still double the amount for Full Sense in terms of advantage. They have to balloon their strength at this stage because every single one already reached their final evolution. So they have to find some pivot points. They have to find something that could turn the tides in their favor.
For sure. And look at this though. Like Full Sense definitely does have the full control of the map as of the moment. Gonna be able to destroy the first score goal. Both of them has one score goal down. Elevate was able to take down the bottom one, and Full Sense was able to take down the first one, the top path one. But here's the thing though, Full Sense will definitely have more control just with the fact that they can take in that Reggie like immediately into that of the second tier score goal in comparison to Elevate, which Full Sense still does have their first tier score goal up top.
Now Reggie comes out in the bottom. It's a Reggie Rock. We're in Full Sense now starting it. But Elevate wanting to contest it as well. They're preparing. They have the Unite moves up and running, but Dorio in danger on top path with Garchomp chasing him down. It's pretty much a 4v4 into the bottom path. We're in Garchomp now being targeted by Dorio.
Oh my goodness, Reverend Ren is going to be popped up as well here, but it's not going to be enough though. Here comes Power Nap coming in from that of the Snorlax and a Heavy Slam as well, just try to get away. Not going to be able to defend, not quite yet, but it looks like it is going to be absolutely going to be able to take down that Reggie Rock for themselves. They now need to get away because they are getting outnumbered right now, but Greninja is now here to help them. Water Shuriken is now going to be popped up just to push them away, put a little bit of damage to ensure that they survive another day.
Yeah, Full Sense still on that massive lead up against Elevate. 269 versus 129 in terms of points. And yes, Full Sense is getting another objective of their own into the top path, so extra pressure. There's no more tier 2 goal zone for Full Sense to capitalize on the Regieleki, but then that pressure for the Regieleki can pivot themselves into the bottom path or in tier 1 goal zone still available for themselves to gain and dunk more points.
Right, and dude, this is oh man, Full Sense still has the control here for this game. Elevate is really grasping, right? They're really grasping straws here for them to be able to catch up. And look at that though, Garchomp, Mark God, still gonna be able to put down two once again, three in total for Full Sense. And now they're gonna be able to destroy the first score goal down bottom as Blank tries to score in, but unfortunately going to be attacked here, going to be marked here by that of the Umbreon, not going to be able to put down that 42.
Yeah, and this is what we're saying, right? In terms of that power coming for the side of Full Sense, the Regieleki doesn't matter. They're not capitalizing it to gain more points coming into the top lane, but what they want is to pivot down into the bottom path. Once they did, they get that 20 points in and then overcapped it with that 38 points. So overall, right now, in a very good footing for Full Sense in a 200-point lead.
Oh, Full Sense is a very good footing of the game of the match right now. All they need to do is obviously be careful and elevate. However, they have a lot to catch up on here, and at the very least, right? Look, Miva is eyeing them out, marking them down. That hey, they are down here. We can probably take this one up against them. Maybe steal this one up, or at least try to make sure that we can position ourselves going into that of the Rayquaza. But it is going to be Taro up. It's going to be able to take down that of the Reggie Ice and allows them to get a bit of a buff before the Rayquaza.
Yeah. Now full sense. Already a massive lead. The Reg Ice as well. Over the Reggie buff, actually giving them a huge edge up against Elevate. As Elevate is now positioning towards the Rayquaza pit. Dodrio wants to set up the plays with that 16 points, double the
Hmm.
amount to at least close down the distance and at least give them a couple of points before the Rayquaza fight. Gave them a bit of a closer gap against Full Sense. But right now, Elevate
Oh,
goes
heavy
for the
slam
Heavy
into
Slam.
the yawn, dude. That is going to be the initiative of Elevate, but unfortunately, they are getting punished for it as well. They have JR Absent into that of their priorities, and they have it straight. Going to have two KOs in the process. Cheryl is going to be taken out as well. Tempest tries to get away with the yawn, was able to get away though, but unfortunately, not going to be enough. They'll try to get back into the base to recover some HP, but unfortunately, not going to be the player of the game here. Gets the triple trample as well.
Oh!
The Rayquaza for themselves. Elevate was able to secure the Rayquaza. The question is, though, would they be able to put this one down? Here we go. Hondos is now down 120, another 20, and another one here. They still need 20 more points in order to catch up against Full Sense. I don't think they know this. I don't think they know that. And now Full Sense puts in another one here. They are currently still in the lead with 19 points.
Not anymore. One
Not
point difference
anymore.
here. Elevate now on the lead. Full Sense still has to defend and has to still look for points off their own because Elevate is now in the lead. 30 seconds remaining. Full Sense has to do something about it.
Point,
Greninja is
1
just putting
point.
a lot of pressure on the top lane. But look at what Full Sense is doing. They're pressuring the bottom lane. They're wanting to go in for those points. But Elevate wanting to defend. They have 3 Pokemon going for it.
Oh, this is beautiful play coming from Elevate. They are taking advantage of the. Oh, look at that 3, no 4, KO, 5. But then, oh, my goodness, I love. My apologies. I love what they did. I love what they did. They know that they couldn't control the Rayquaza. They can't control the Rayquaza. They can't control the game. So they took advantage of that. That Pulse has the control of the game. That their disadvantage is now their advantage. That make sure that okay, you know what? We're just going to take the risk, take the Rayquaza, and then from there on out, just essentially take everyone out as well in the process, and then score in. Though it was still pretty close, I do like the decision here coming in from Elevate to take the game for themselves at the very last moment.
It's all about keeping up the pace and keeping up the pressure from the very beginning up until the very end. It's just one opportunity that Elevate was able to get. It's what we're saying, right? It's all about finding those loopholes. It's all about finding those opportunities and getting the most out of it. And Elevate was able to do that. But now jumping into game number 2, picks and bans swiftly going through it.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's still the same bands here. You know, the usual ones. Sableye. They don't want Elevate to have the Sableye here, and of course, it allows them to get the Umbreon as a priority pick as well for Full Sense. And now, Elevate is gonna be able to answer back here with that of the Dodrio, and of course the Cerulege, which we all know for a fact is a very strong Pokemon. It's one of the Pokemon that we've been seeing that isn't in one of the games, especially today, right? There's some games that we didn't see Cerulege yesterday, but this time though, it's always in the game.
Yeah, it's just so strong. Cerulage's Unite move along with that constant amount of damage is just insane to think about, and also the power spike for Cerulege is very quick as well. A couple of minutes time, 1 minute to 2 minutes, he's already good. So having the Cerulege puts them at a good advantage along with the mobility in mind. But so far, the composition for Full Sense looking quite similar from game number 1, and Elevate changing things up, hopefully and potentially the Armorage to come through as well along with the Cerulege.
Right, and here you go though. We're gonna be seeing a bit of the same set
Oh
of
no!
same set of
Yeah.
Pokemon as earlier. Still, Greninja. Well, Greninja was able to do a lot here though. Greninja is definitely able to do a lot for the previous games, and I have no doubt that Elevate is going to be able to maneuver quite well with the Greninja as well. And then, of course, Full Sense, almost the same thing, almost the same set of Pokemon that I've been using since earlier, and it all will just boil down to how they're going to be able to again control this match away from that of Elevate. Elevate still has a lot to climb here against them.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, if Full Sense wins this, there's still one more game where an Elevate would have that purple side selection. So right now, it is all stacking in favor for Elevate. It's all about just utilizing their advantage here. It's a pretty much CL occurred. It's all about
Mhm.
Elevate. It's all about Full Sense to do something about this year.
Yeah, it all boils down to the execution. I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, see, they wouldn't be using this Pokemon if they didn't practice it, right? So definitely they know how to use this, but it all boils down to how they're going to be adjusting their executions from against each other. Again, Elevate was only barely able to win game number one, and if they do want to win against Full Sense, they have to change their playstyle drastically against that of Full Sense.
Yeah. And now, Full Sense and Elevate, we talked a bit about on their advantages and pros and cons, their strengths and weaknesses early game, when we can expect them to evolve. So those are some of the things that we have to keep an eye on. Full
Mm,
Sense had full control a while back in the early game, and
mhm,
they will be able to actually keep up the pace there just because they have their Shifu. They have
mhm.
the likes of the Umbreon as well that has strong power in the early game, but Elevate and a bit of time in the middle of the matchup, if they can close down the gap, because that was one of the problems a while ago in game number one, right? It's Full
Mhm.
Sense who had so much AO's energy, who had so much experience, where an Elevate had a big gap in terms of level.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's man, Full Sense. They want to force the issue. They always want to force the issue. And the thing is, for them, it always works out. They always win their team fights, and Elevate wasn't able to answer back against them. And I think they're going to be doing the same thing again over for this game because it already worked. Why won't it work for the second game, especially when everyone else is using the same Pokemon, right? So now we see that Urshifu now is online again, does have access to that of Surging Strikes, which I believe is still quite a surprise given that we haven't been seeing the Water Bear in quite a while. But look at this though, Miva tries to invade, but might as well be punished here. Do they have the mean look now? I don't I don't quite think so. Not quite yet.
Yeah, not quite yet. Miva in danger already, being isolated. It's a 3v1. So trying to run away, just getting space and buying time.
Mm,
That was at the very least you can do. It's to buy time for the team.
right.
60 points already for Elevate and getting a lot more points in the bottom path. So now they're closing down the gap. A while ago it was so massive of an experience difference. Now Elevate is catching up the pace.
It looks like okay, never mind. I'm just gonna mention that later. But look at this though. Charlotte's gonna be taken out here, and Tempest not gonna be able to reach the Citrus Berry despite having activated its passive ability, Gluttony, allowing it to run faster near a berry. Now, what I was trying to mention, right? It seems as if this Umbreon is not actually using Mean Look, but instead using Foul Play for more crowd control. It can actually, it can do a bit of like a two Pokemon, I believe, to push back down into its teammates so that they can it can essentially allow them to put in damage, especially with this Garchomp as well with the Dragon Rush and Dragon Claw, which can reposition everyone in the game. But look at that, though, Miva almost taken out. However, it's still not going to be enough to do and finish the job. But look at this though, Goodbye is going to be taken out as well in the process. It's going to be 1-for-1 trade for to no one's favor, but still Elevate does go in no longer for Yawn, but instead goes in for that of the of the block just to push opponents away.
Now Elevate still going in with a Reggie
Ooh.
the security objective, but Full Sense going to the backside.
Yes, sirree, and here we go. Another one. Oh, the Reverend Ren wasn't able to do a lot here against that of Full Sense, and man, they knew how to disengage and just allowing the Reggie Leggy. They know for a fact that the moment that Reggie Leggy goes into the score goal, is going to destroy it. They just allow it so that Elevate won't be able to overcap anymore. Beautiful micro decision coming in from that of Full Sense.
Mm-hmm. Definitely so. Now Elevate. Full Sense was still able to come back though with that point disadvantage a while ago. Only a 2 point difference this time around. Much closer between these two teams.
Right.
As you have the likes of a Spoo going in and dunking the tier 1 goal zone into the bottom lane. Now it's very
Mhm.
difficult for us to be able to, or well, very difficult for these teams to know the difference, but this is so close. It's very minute. It's very, very minimal in terms of that matchup. So every single fight will be important.
Yes, Livid Outrage is going to be popped up here as well, but beautiful, beautiful fly RNG Unite move coming in from that of the Clefable, allowing it to survive, making sure that Market S is not going to hit anyone at all, possibly just going to waste that Unite move. That was a beautiful RNG gotcha coming in from that of the Clefable. If it was anything different, maybe Block would have been good, would have been okay, but Fly was definitely the best outcome that would have been able to go for that Clefable at that very moment.
Yeah, for sure. Just saved himself out the way to go back into the safety, and now you have the Snorlax going in for the
Oh,
block
whatever,
as well,
Shuriken.
pushing them and isolating those targets as Lewis is trying to catch up, but Full Sense will be able to treat unscathed their Elevate, going in to defend the top path back.
Mm.
That's 60 points. So close already. Now will be another KO, but Dodrio
Oh,
able to catch up will not be enough. It's Full Sense will be able to go down with that tier 1 goal zone.
there you go. Heavy Slam is gonna be popped up as well, coming in from Tempest, and there you go. Another Reverend Rand is gonna be taken out, gonna be popped up as well, but not gonna be enough to take out Mark Godass. And of course, this Clefable. But look at this, though. Another Dragon Rush into Dragon Claw, gonna be able to take them out. Clefable is down, and of course, Snorlax is down as well. Beautiful. Beautiful sustain coming in from that of Nautiza with that of the Blissey, ensuring that this Garchomp can do the damage for the longest time possible.
Yeah, in full sense, still keeping up with the advantage. Both these teams have two goal zones each, and that is just power plays from both sides here. But Regieleki will be available, and it looks like Full Sense would have the first touch on the objective. Looking at it, Elevate, going for the chase onto Spew.
And you see the difference of how Full Sense is playing here. They are now more. They are securing objectives even more now compared to the last game. Just because of the fact that Elevate was able to level up their game. Whatever Shuriken is going to be popped up here. Livid Outrage once again going to be popped up. There you go, Heavy Slam to nothing. It's going to be taken out in the process. But look at this though. It is going to be Miva going to be taken out here by the Mewtwo Y Mega Evolution, and the Clefable is going to be going out as well. Regieleki is on the second tier score goal, allowing them to destroy it with an overcap as well of I believe that's 23.
Yeah, around 20 to 30 overcap coming in from Full Sense from the top path just because of Garchomp dunking it through. It's quick math coming from Full Sense right out of
Mm.
the gate there, but now it's them who has the 150-point lead. The left side definitely has a huge lead here in the last 3 minutes into the game, and Elevate has to act up.
Right. So, a side shock. Sorry, I think it's side strike. Yeah, side strike into teleport instead of recover is actually a very good thing here coming in from that of Full Sense. To allow them to, do dish out some damage from the back lane as well. So, Full Sense, they just need to be careful here if they want to go up against Elevate, because Elevate, man, they are winning these team fights.
Oh, look at Hero what? Just waiting for the opportunity to go for the face check as Full Sense was able to have eyes on Clefable.
Mm.
Now the Regirock will be the target of back.
Final major objective before the Rayquaza. Let's find out if they're going to lock in here. Full Sense has the positional advantage into that
Heavy
Regirock.
Slam.
One of our Shuriken is going to be popped up, has 12 blitz assistance, but
Oh.
it's then going to be, Tampa is going to be able to secure this Regirock as well. Unfortunately, though, for them, they're going to get punished, locking in 2KO in the process. They'll make a 3. No more attackers into the side of Elevate, as only the Drio and that of the, Snorlax is going to be the outlet. But again, we have to remember, they can still run.
Eva.
Triple trample,
No.
not giving enough. It was a little bit too early for them to take down this Rayquaza, but never mind though. Tempest, no, it's still Miva. Miva was able to take away this Rayquaza, but unfortunately for them, not everyone is alive. As when they were able to take in this Rayquaza, so they are still going to have some hard time here to put down these points. Now, the thing is, would they be able to put this though? That is the question, because if they can, just one is all they need. They can catch up the Full Sense.
Yeah, they have to commit to it. Look at the positioning for full sense, however. Look at Blissey just waiting for the catapult. If ever Elevate goes for the dunk, there's a lot of deny capabilities coming for full sense. Double type of setup. It's a 2-1-2 wherein one is going in for the catapult for that instant response. If Elevate wants to go for the dunk, so Elevate has to force out an issue and has to force out that fight. Heavy Sam on the guard chomp.
Oh, wow, the isolation coming in from Tempest, but unfortunately coming in with the Dragon Rush and the Dragon Claw, they were able to get away. But unfortunately, though, here comes the Dodrio just waiting for the right time. Just the right time to put in some scores, but they know for a fact that they are getting weighted here. Two Pokemon trying to score, and there's a 68! The 68 coming in from that of the Absent with
No,
the Fable, but is this gonna be enough though? Dodrio needs to put in more points. Here comes the block here coming in from that of Tempest. Are they gonna be able to do it though? Look at that. Urshifu is just waiting up top, making sure that this Dodrio won't be able to do a back cap.
20 seconds left. Full Sense is still going in for the full-on defense. Elevate has to do something about it. They have a lot of points already sorted up. They have to commit.
Oh, here you go. They're pushing them in, but unfortunately for them, they need to do more. Oh, look at this. Tempest pushing them away, and they're going to be able to score in. Is that going to be enough, though? Not quite yet. There's a 30 points now down, but they need, I believe, like 60 or 80 or something. I'm not sure if that was enough.
It wasn't. I believe it was Full Sense was still able to win it through and through with a 40-point lead up against Elevate, and that win coming from that fast, we're going to game 3.
Man. That was very close, but they had all the correct plays. You cannot tell them otherwise. Everyone had the correct place. Tempest waiting for the block, waiting for Miva. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough of a points for them to catch up into that of Full Sense. But nonetheless, again, beautiful play, phenomenal play for both of the teams, and honestly, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, it definitely could have gone onto the side of Elevate or even Full Sense. That Rayquaza really changed things up for the better for the side of Elevate, but it wasn't enough. The teammates for Elevate was pretty much sent to the base, still recovering, and it was really an unfortunate timing wherein they were able to get the Rayquaza, but the Fable came up right after. It was so close. It was so close. But now, going into Game 3, it's the decision matchup between Elevate and Full Sense. It's down to this. Who wins this game would gain their 3 points away from this match.
Oh, for sure. And here you go, though. Final game. Could be anyone's game. Again, this game number 1, they have been bringing up their A game, and they're on equal footing now. They're still on equal footing. Could be anyone's game, and honestly, I don't know who to root for in this match.
It's difficult, right? Because the thing is, both these teams understands how it goes. But this is what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying, right? Elevate, if they lost game number 2, they will still have the priority of the purple side selection. So in terms of that composition, in terms of the draft, they still have that advantage. Now with the Miraidon and Sarlage ban away, Urshifu can be the priority with Mimikyu and Umbreon as the target of Full Sense. The question is Elevate wanting to go for that Urshifu or the Leafeon Piva?
Well, there it is, the Leafeon coming out with Miva, dude. That's one of the Pokemon that you don't want Elevate to have, right? I mean, honestly, every team, you don't want them to have Leafeon, but not especially into the side of Elevate, because that's going to be quite a terrible opponent, honestly. But here you go, though. Hovering up into Hoopa, rather, going to have a lot of sustain here. And Blank with the Machamp, we've seen them play the Machamp quite a lot of disruption with the submission, but no, they're going to be sticking their guns into that of Tempest. Tempest, I've been playing very beautifully with the Snorlax since earlier.
Yeah, the blocks of Snorlax, the yawns, even how Elevate changed things up in game number 2. Now the question is, how would they go for their last rotation of picks? Because so far they still need that bruiser, they still need that damage dealer, and having the Leafeon and Glaceon, if they lock this in, they're fully committing to that early game. And we all know how double EVs have been performing in the past day, have been performing earlier today, not as strong, coming into that Rayquaza fight that constantly loses them that matchup. But Elevate is going for that risk, is still committing to that early aggressive composition.
Wow, this is quite interesting, right? This is quite interesting coming in from that of what do you call this, Full Sense. Sorry, coming in from that of Elevate, they have the Snorlax, they have the Bruiser as well. It's never going to be going out, right? They have the Machamp, and of course they have the backlane damage. That is the Glaceon. Albeit Leafeon is this, I'd say, quite the stronger Pokemon, but nonetheless, Glaceon is still a formidable Pokemon to be taken up by anyone, honestly.
Yeah, it's still strong. It definitely is still strong. Leafeon and Glaceon still has that massive amount of damage. This is the meta before that we had seen back in ACL 2024 PH qualifiers. This is something that Elevate really understands to get back their hand. And in addition to that, you have matchup with Snorlax for that extra defensive capability. But considering that they went in for the double EVs, they went in for the Hoopa. It's early mid game. It's all about playing towards your winning condition. You want that bigger edge. You want that big advantage in terms of A's energy points, in terms of those goals and dunks. Now, Full Sense has to really play patiently here. Has to wait for time. Has to wait for the mid game up until the late game to be able to match up against Elevate.
As I mentioned, right, like having EVs here, having level 4 Pokemon, what do you call it? Having level 4 Pokemon requirement only to be online is going to provide Elevate quite an extensive amount of like playing plans here, right, against that of Full Sense. Just because of the fact that they can go in, as you have mentioned, early game is going to be the key factor for game number 3. Because if Elevate is going to be able to get early game, I think they would be able to control the mid game as well, leading to that of the Rayquaza.
Yeah, it's all about utilizing that. However, we've seen a couple of times where you have the double EVs, but was still not able to capitalize onto the early game advantage, and that is a big problem, right? So if Elevate was able, or is able rather, to alleviate some of that pressure from Full Sense and pierce through the defensive capability of this composition, of this capability of this comp for Full Sense, that will really balloon them to a bigger advantage, because so far they're only winning prowess coming in from the prior 2 games is their steals onto the Rayquaza. It's Full Sense who constantly gains control all throughout early up until late game.
Oh, for sure, I totally agree with you, and that's what we have been saying since earlier. Elevate needs to level up their game. They did, however, on game number 2. Quite late, so hopefully going into game number 3, they are able to do those changes immediately, right from the get-go. And I believe that's also the reason why they want to go in for double an evolution kind of composition against that of Full Sense. But Full Sense, though, there's no question about it. They would give a hard time against that of Elevate, a difficult time to be able to go online, even if they do have evolutions.
Yeah. So I'm really excited here, GG, the decision matchup between Elevate and Full Sense. These two teams are looking for the second win, and I am excited to see who is going to take the bag, who is going to take the win and dub here today for this series. Full Sense right now is potentially one of the favorites coming down to it, just because of the performance that they have done earlier today and yesterday. Pokemon Unite ACL has so much in store for the Pokemon Unite fans, just because of how much game number 3s that we're having, how much series that we're having per day in the group stages.
Again, we have 8 matches a day. We are now currently on our 6th match of the day and going into game number 2. But as of the moment, we're just going to be waiting for them to load up their games before we head into the game. Again, let's just have a little bit of a recap of our matches thus far, leading up to Elevate and Full Sense. So we had game number 1. We have Full Sense, the ones playing right now, going up against that of Alter Ego, winning 2-0. We have BRU, or Buriam United Esports, going up against what do you call this? Muren Sejong, there we go, 2-1. We have Paper Rex going against Blacklist International, winning 2-0. And of course, Talon going up against Evos. What do you call it? That going against Evos, 2-1 as well. And then of course we have another game for Alter Ego against that of Onyx, though it was Onyx who won that 2-0 as well. So for today, right, Alter Ego hasn't won a single game, and now leading up to this, we have Elevate up that against Full Sense. Again, we're just waiting for game number 3 for it to end, so that we are going to be able to see the what's the term here, the conclusion of this matchup.
Yeah, a conclusion of the series. I mean, it's a decision matchup. It's only one game away to conclude it. I'm really excited because it's 1-1 for now for both
Mhm.
Elevate and Full Sense. And right after that, we have a matchup against or well, rather, we have a match with Blacklist International going
Mhm.
up against EVOS, and then you have Onyx battling up against Elevate. And so far, in terms of this composition, it's very, very standard for both sides. We
Mhm.
have seen this already happen. So yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, that's pretty much the statement of it. We'll be the ones to dictate who takes the 3 points away from this series.
And here we have it, the final match of Elevate and Full Sense. It seems as if Elevate is going to be the one on the left side this time around, and Full Sense is going to be the one on the right side. There you have it, the orange and the violet positions for this game. Again, game number 3 for Elevate and Full Sense.
Yeah, game number 3, Elevate, is already at level 4. So this is where we start to see those ramp ups occur for Elevate, especially how Miva, who has to step up and deal a lot of damage into those rotations, into those roams. It will be quite crucial for Elevate's winning condition to have a massive lead in early mid game.
Yes, sir. And here you go. Man, uh, at the very least, right, what we can see at the moment is that both of these teams are no longer taking that much of a risk. They are playing carefully, watching each other's plays, and essentially just react to it. And now, full sense, yes, sure, they might have had first scores, but just like what 9 points. But look at this though, Elevate able to take down. Sorry, full sense was able to take down this Galatian. Again, this is what you have been saying. They might have the evolution, they might have the early game play, but it still might not be enough as Folsom was able to essentially delay it for just a bit, though it's still the early game.
Yeah. And the full sense right now with a 35 points. Actually, this is not looking that good for Elevate. It's already 2 minutes in. We were looking for Miva to step up and looking for that massive amounts of impact into the early matchup. But Full Sense understands their constant rotations really hinder Elevate's potential into really looking for those loopholes and looking for those weakness to overcome up against Full Sense.
Oh, oh, indeed, indeed, indeed. But like like full sense here still does have the advantage. They are making sure that while they
Yeah.
are not giving up some XP against that of Elevate, they make sure that Elevate don't get any points here at all. So here we go, though. Gonna have a bit of a skirmish here up top. Making sure the full stance is going to push in as well. Elevate, though, is going to repel them out.
hmm And Full Sense, this is really what I love about them. Their capability to adapt into those situations, right? If you see how Elevate is constant rotations, they want to utilize the Glaceon, the Leafeon for the extra strength in the early game, but Full Sense is mirroring those rotations, right? They're going in for those farmhand rotations where in Full Sense really has that stronghold that, you know what, we're gonna play patiently, we're just gonna defend our goal zone. If Elevate pivots themselves, stunning at the United front, going for a 5-man rotations, they're going for those dunks. They're going for those points. And that is the reason why Full Sense was able to stack up 69 points already in 4 minutes.
Right? And here we have it. The early advantage is that whoever's going to be able to take down that first set of major objectives, and it seems as if they have a bit of a trade here. Wolfens took the what it calls the Reggie Elecki, but Elevate was able to take in that Reggie Rock down bottom. Unfortunately for Full Sense, they weren't able to utilize it as much as they wanted to, not being able to allow the Urshifu to put down that 30 from Mark God S. But here you go, though. Oh my goodness, there's Dodrio is almost taken out. It seems like Tira here is not the one driving the Urshifu this time around. They might have changed some roles for this match in specific.
Yeah. In tier 1, that was so close. He was able to just retreat, elevate. Now getting a couple of points in, 127 points for each side. As
Ooh,
to force out the eject, they're coming from Spew with a heavy stamina from Tempest setting into place. But so far so good for both these teams though. But
holy
Urshifu into the
cow.
backside takes down Leafeon.
But that's good though. Like Tempest had an answer, had to use a block just to be able to so that their team would be able to like get away as well. So full fence now trying to secure all the XP. Tira here at the bottom path able to secure the birds, and at the top as well. We have Markout as with that or Shifu taking down that of the birds. on that path. So this is the first time that we're gonna be seeing Urshifu in the Dark Bear in this matchup. Since earlier we've been seeing it as the Water Bear, so maybe that's also the reason why they changed up whoever's gonna be playing the Urshifu so that they can play a different kind of like Urshifu of their team.
Mm, yeah, for sure. And this type of play is coming for full sense now. It's just matching up the pace of Elevate. 5 minutes into the game already. It's a close battle indeed, and only a difference of how many points. It's just like how many, like 15 points, in favor for full sense. And considering how the tier 1 goal zone is still available into the top side for full sense, I'm thinking that Elevate wants to pivot themselves into gaining that Regirock, get that advantage onto the top side, considering they have the Hoopa, so Hyperspatial can be set up. And there you go, the bait is there already. You want the Regieleki into the top path.
Yes, sir, and there you have it. That's what they're doing right now. Elevate was able to secure the Reggie Lucky, though, in comparison to Full Sense taking that one up. But even when they
Oh,
would take down that Reggie Lucky at the very least, right? Like, we have Margot here getting in some back caps here with 40 points. But here you go, though. Hyperspatial just to bring them back down the base and recover some HP. Margot, though, still not done. Wants to put in more points, but that is a bit of an overextension here coming in from Margot.
yeah, and so far, if you saw what Full Sense did there, or Shifu coming in from the back and then gaining that 40 points, it's a battle of wits. It's a battle of how much points you can dunk in all throughout these games. It's very important for them to take those advantages in through and through. The difference right now is 13 points, approaching 30 minutes, so close. But Full Sense will now start to ramp up. Remember what we mentioned during the draft, Full Sense, their strength is coming through into that final fight. Elevate needs that advantage into the early game, but so far we haven't seen that advantage come to life.
I mean, they have had some moments where they won against that of Full Sense in Game of 3, but unfortunately not not one that would put them in a huge gap against that of Full Sense. Not quite yet though, but they are currently winning in terms of like a team fight as of the moment. But as I say that, they were able to take out the Machamp coming from Elevate, and True though is going to be taken out as well.
Yeah, and that is very dangerous coming into the side of Full Sense at the very least, because if you're giving these KOs away from Elevate, they're finding
Ooh.
these eliminations where in Sense would capitalize instead of the plays. Remember, Reggie Aleki will come up in 20 seconds on top. So if they're able to get it, either of this team, they will put that pressure on tier 2 goal zone. And now they can pivot themselves into a good position, a better position onto the Rayquaza pit, or even the Reggie buff into the bottom path if it comes back alive at second time. But unfortunately, it won't. I don't think it's going to be enough time. So Reggie Lucky will be the priority here this time around, 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
For sure. But here's the thing though, like nobody's there. Nobody's up top. Nobody wants to get
Yeah.
Reggie Lucky, unfortunately. But I think what they want to prioritize is just reposition themselves, either get ready and position themselves into that of Rayquaza, as we can see right now in that minimap. Nobody wants a Reggie Lucky. Nobody wants to take that one up for each other. Unfortunately for us.
Rayquaza is now up. It's both these teams who doesn't want to go for the Reggie Aleki, but instead wants to position themselves into a better spot into the Rayquaza fight. It's all about setting up the plays here. Look at Leafeon's position down into the bottom. It's just all about waiting patiently and just going to gain more points to stack up for later on. Once the Rayquaza occurs here, remember it's Elevate who is still at a massive disadvantage. Well, at least a minor disadvantage in terms of point allocation. Someone has to give. Someone has to push through and force out the fight.
Sorry, just someone has to give, definitely. But here's the thing, though. Like nobody knows who's in the lead right now because of how close the gap is in terms of the core of the score. They all know that what they all know is that okay, it's the score is very close, but they don't know which one who's the one leading. Now here's the thing, though. Retail stage is going to be pop up into the rings and down as well. Triple Champ is going to be pop up as well. They want to take in this Rayquaza. It is going to be Full Sense. They're going to be able to take them out as well as a team wipe and Full Sense. Waited for that very last moment, going to be able to secure this game for themselves, putting out down the scores, and I don't think Elevate is going to be able to stop this. They are not in the game. They have to get back here, but unfortunately, more Nurse Joy is still taking care of them so that they will be ready for the next game.
And this is what we mentioned. Elevate has the advantage in the early game, but when it comes to that final 2 minutes, it will be Full Sense who will dominate. And that is exactly what we have seen here in game number 3. When Rayquaza fight hit, it's Full Sense who just crushed Elevate and sent them all back to the base.
And 15 minutes is not going to be enough for them to, you know, to catch up. Not especially they don't have the points as well. So full sense though, it was quite a good run here for Elevate for this game against them. But full sense, well, they've been playing quite dominantly since earlier, and it wasn't much of a surprise that they win this game number 3 as well. But at least for Elevate, you still have a chance to get in more points for the tournament for the league, going against that of Onyx later down the night. But here it goes though, 2-1 in favor of Full Sense. They're going to be winning, I believe, like 6 points total for today.